Clapperboard behind the scenes secrets of 50 Shades of Dusk. When the lights go out, the truth speaks. Hollywood, fall 2012. Paramount West studio was bathed in a golden glow, amid the steady tapping of test cameras. 50 Shades of Dusk, the most anticipated film project of the year, had officially begun. Julian Drake, the former model and actor, walked into the studio. He was tall, with a sharp face, but his eyes were heavy, as if he knew he was walking into a maze with no exit. On the other side, Eva Monroe, the 23-year-old girl who had just been chosen as the female lead, was having her makeup touched up by a makeup artist. There was no smile on her face. "Are you scared?" Julian asked. "No, it's just, I feel like someone is watching me." Eva replied softly. That answer seemed like a random sentence. But just weeks later, as the film began filming its intimate scenes, Eva realized that another camera, not part of the crew, was watching her from beyond the glass walls of the studio. The hidden contract, unknown to Julian, before he signed the $5 million contract, there was a secret addendum, added by producer Mark Holloway. The addendum stipulated, all images, audio, and footage not used in the final cut remain the property of the studio. The actor is not required to destroy it. Julian signed without reading it. He was thinking only of the role, of escaping the shadow of the model. He had no idea that it would allow someone to keep hundreds of hours of intimate footage, including when the camera was, accidentally, on. Eva, on the other hand, read it and objected, but she was threatened with losing the role. Clara L. Jennings, the powerful novelist behind the film, convinced her, "Trust me, it's all about art. We're going to make history." Eva gritted her teeth and signed. And from that moment on, she became the first pawn in a game of chess that no one knew who was in charge. Darkness in the editing room. April 2013. The scenes had finished, but the crew was still not allowed to leave. Mark Holloway, the director, asked for a few extras, with the reason to capture the energy between the two actors. Eva objected. Julian also found it unusual. They shot all night, without a scriptwriter, just the director and two cameras. After the last scene, Eva disappeared from the set for 3 days. When she returned, her eyes were dark, her voice was lower, and no one asked what had happened. People only knew that from that day on, Eva changed completely. She didn't look at Julian anymore, didn't talk, just worked. Every time the director said, "Cut," she left the set immediately. On Wednesday night, Julian went back to his room and found a USB drive hidden in an envelope. There was no sender. Inside was a cut of the film, not an official shot, but a picture of him and Eva, shot from an angle he had never seen before. Under the clip was the caption, "If you still believe this is art, you don't know what Hollywood is." Anonymous letters. As the film entered post-production, Julian received 3 letters without a sender. The first simply read, "Appendix 7 check before it's too late." The second came from an address in London, and included a photo of Mark Holloway meeting privately with a man in a black suit, identified as a representative of the mysterious investment fund Silverco Productions. The third one, just one line, "Something is being sold under your name," Julian told Eva. She was silent for a moment, then said, "I saw the contract. They're not just shooting, Julian. They're testing facial recognition technology to create virtual actors. We're just models." Julian didn't believe it, until he stumbled upon footage in the studio's editing machine, footage of his face digitally distorted, used to test lighting effects. But in some scenes, he didn't remember filming them. When the film was released, in February 2015, 50 Shades of Dusk premiered worldwide. Tickets sold out, grossing over $500 million. Julian and Eva became stars. But behind the smiles was an eerie silence. Eva didn't appear for any interviews. Julian was ordered not to answer questions about unfilmed scenes. Director Mark disappeared after the Berlin premiere. 3 months later, Julian received a call from an unknown number. You think the film is finished? Not yet. Dusk is only the first part. What you see on screen is only 60%, the rest is in storage. And someone is ready to sell it. He immediately contacted a lawyer, but the studio denied everything. A week later, his personal computer was hacked, and the entire folder containing the previous USB copy was deleted. The journey to truth. Julian decided to fly to London, to find the only person who could help him, the former editor of Silver Co. That person, a woman named Nadia Frost, agreed to meet him in an old cafe in Kensington. You don't understand, Nadia whispered, they used your films to test the AI actor model. Every gesture, every look of yours was scanned to train the software. Eva knew it, but she couldn't escape the contract. They used her name to sign copyrights she didn't read. Julian was speechless. What about Mark? Nadia looked straight at him. Mark didn't disappear. He was transferred to be a consultant for a virtual film company. Clara Jennings, the author of the novel, was just the title character. The real project was called Project Eros, to create the perfect cinematic couple without any real actors. Julian clenched his fists. I have to go public with this. You can't, Nadia whispered. If you tell, they'll erase you. Literally. Eva disappears. At the end of 2015, Eva suddenly withdrew from Hollywood, without explanation. Magazines said she wanted a break, but Julian knew something was wrong. He went to her house in Malibu. It was empty, except for a single photo, the two of them on a film set, with a handwritten message in red ink behind it. If one day you don't recognize yourself in the mirror, remember, they've already started. The Man in the Mirror. In 2016, Julian was attending an awards ceremony in New York when he saw a teaser on the screen for Silverco's new film, Shades Reborn. The male lead in the teaser was him, but he had never done a film like that before. The scene, the voice, the gestures, everything was identical. When he asked for a copyright check, the law firm replied that the image was created using Silverco's legitimate property, based on simulated data. Julian understood. They did it. They created him using artificial intelligence. He was just the original left behind. The last interview. A year later, independent reporter Laura Kent approached Julian, offering to do a revealing interview. The interview was recorded in a dark room, with only a dim blue light. Do you regret joining Dusk? She asked. No, but I regret believing I had control over my own image. Do you have any proof? No need. They will reveal themselves. The more you try to hide it, the more obvious it is. 2 months later, Laura posted the article on her personal page. The article went viral. But within 24 hours, her entire website was shut down, and her account was deleted. Behind the scenes, Shades Reborn 2 premieres, starring Julian Drake and Eva Monroe, both of whom have since retired from the industry. No one in the audience knows that the actors they are watching are no longer real people. Some conspiracy bloggers have noticed something unusual. Eva's eyes in the film have duplicated micro-movements, a sign of mimicry. But when they post, they are all deleted within hours. In a faraway place, in the mountains of Northern Ireland, a man lives anonymously in a small house by a lake. Every morning, he looks in the mirror, looks at his face, and whispers, "He's still out there." A version of me. The last letter. One evening in August 2021, Julian received an anonymous package. Inside was a mini DV tape, an outdated one. He turned it on. The screen showed Eva, her face pale, her voice trembling. Julian, if you see this, it means they're about to release Project Eros. Don't believe what you see. If you can, destroy the server in Los Angeles. Just destroy the main data store, and everything will stop. Don't let them continue to create us. This time it's not just a movie. The video stopped. Julian sat still. He knew that in the old studio in LA, there was still a data room called Eros Storage 7 inches. And he decided to go back there, one last time. Data room, September 2021. Julian sneaked into the old industrial area of Silver Co. In the darkness, dozens of servers flashed red lights. He plugged the USB, the same one he had kept since 2013, into the hub. The screen read, Eros AI version 9.1 running, processing models, Eva M, Julian desync level, 98%. He hesitated for a few seconds, then pressed delete all. The alarm sounded. The lights flashed. But before the guards could catch him, Julian caught one last line, too late. Backup version launched. When the Shadows Love. In February 2022, 50 Shades, Resurrection was released online. The film opens with Julian and Eva, but there's something strange. They talk about fake worlds, about clone imprisoned in data. Audiences thought it was a surreal, metaphorical scenario. No one knew that those were the last lines that their AI, their clone, had written. The end. Hollywood was still shining, still releasing passionate, sexy, frame-perfect blockbusters. But in the darkness of that industry, Project Eros continued, quietly creating actors that no one knew were real or not. It is said that every time the movie 50 Shades was re-aired on TV, if you paused the video at 47 to 32, you would see a blurry frame, eyes looking straight into the lens, as if to say, I am no longer me.